What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today it's watch list time for game week 2. So this is sort of a new series, but also not. I've done watch list videos in the past, but I haven't done them every single game week throughout the whole season, and that is the aim this year. So I'm going to talk about a few players, whether it's 3, 4, 5, depends on the game week, of course, that I'm currently adding to my watch list. So players that I'm looking to either bring in right away or players that I'm going to look at over the next few weeks to kind of get a better idea of how good they are. And obviously for you lot as well, hopefully you can make use of this list of players that maybe you should add to your own watch list. And of course, you might disagree at times, and that's perfectly fine. Just leave me a comment below and let me know. If you enjoy this new series, please do give it a like. Do subscribe if you haven't already. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers now, about 1.5k away. So if you've not hit that button, make sure you do. Otherwise, let's get into this video. So I got to be honest, it was pretty cool to see James Rodriguez in the Premier League, and he did not disappoint. It was a really good performance by Everton, playing a Spurs side who, yes, are not the best team in the league by far, but they're still decent enough, and Everton really just controlled the game. Like Ancelotti threw Rodriguez, Allen, Doucouré straight into the mix, and it looked like they've been playing together for a long time. Rodriguez spraying balls to the left, constantly looking for Digne, and more importantly, Richarlison as well, who hasn't made this watch list video, but probably could. He was very good as well. But yeah, Rodriguez looked like he'd been playing. Obviously, we know he's a really good player, but it looked like he'd been playing in that team for ages, was fit as well. There was a few concerns about whether he would start, bearing in mind he hadn't played much football last season. But like I said, Ancelotti just threw them straight in. And with the shape they played, it was more of a 4-3-3 with Rodriguez on the right, but obviously he was checking in. And that showed in the stats. 5 chances created from open play, and also he had 3 shots, 2 of which were in the box. Now, I thought he might come in and monopolise set pieces. He didn't. Lucas Digne still took a few. But given he's creating that many chances from open play, that's probably going to be okay for points down the line. And for 7.5 million, it looks like a really good buy. I know a lot of people have got Dele Alli, for example, and suddenly worried about him. Probably rightly so. I think James Rodriguez, with those 3 fixtures up next, looks really good. He's got an eye for goal. We've seen him take a few shots already. More importantly, he's creating chances as well. And for the likes of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison to put them away, there's going to be plenty of points for him. So 7.5 million is looking like a bit of a bargain. For my team, it's going to be harder to fit him in straight away. But I've got the likes of Pulisic. We'll have to see how they do over the next few weeks. Rodriguez got to be on the watch list. Let's stick with Everton for a second. Lucas Digne, 6 million. Now, I did consider him. I mean, I know we consider a lot of players, but I did consider him pre-season very strongly towards the end of finalising my draft, because ultimately I thought about putting a 5.5, £6 million defender in instead of having basically play 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. So don't go for Mitrovic or Adams or Saint-Maximin or someone like that. Put a defender like this in instead. I didn't do that, and a 12-pointer to start off is pretty decent indeed. 3 bonus points and an assist versus Spurs. Very, very good free kick, by the way, all the way over to Calvert-Lewin. I will say, though, he only created 1 chance in that game. I think, obviously, he's still going to be looked at down that left side to provide width, to provide crosses across the goal, but with James Rodriguez now, there's going to be less kind of need for them to rely on fullbacks to create chances. And a lot of the possessions basically going to go through him. Rodriguez is going to be looking for that final ball rather than him passing out to Lucas Digne and then him creating the chances himself. So that's one thing to note. He did still get forward, but only created 1 chance. He is still on a lot of set pieces, though. Like I said, Rodriguez didn't take them all. There's free kicks and corners that Digne was taking too. You don't necessarily get a lot of assists from that, but it's still nice to have them as a 6 million. And ultimately, one of the reasons I like him, not only for the fixtures, but with Allen there sitting as kind of the CDM, and obviously Doucouré in there as well as a bit of a ball winner, defensively they're going to be very good. Like, Spurs didn't create a huge amount of chances. It's not like they didn't have any, but overall Everton very good. And also bear in mind, Spurs not that bad, and also it was the first game they'd all played together. In the next 3 fixtures, I mean, you could see 2 or 3 clean sheets in that already. So for 6 million, he suddenly looks okay, and I think he'll tick over for the whole season. And arguably going forward at the back, potentially with bigger players like him or Doherty, or whoever it might be, could be a good option. So he was already on my watch list. He's definitely on it now after that performance. If I had the money to go straight to him now, honestly, I would probably consider it, because I just think Everton are going to be as good as we thought they could be, given that midfield and how good it's looking right now. And with the fixtures, it's almost like a no-brainer for me. So I didn't think I'd be adding a Leeds defender after game week 1, especially when they just conceded 4 goals. But for 4.5 million, I do think he's going to be a bit of a bargain this year. And I almost put him into my squad to cover other players, and I didn't. And I kind of regretting that a little bit, because suddenly on paper, the fixtures look quite good. Even Wolves at home, which is tricky, might not be a bad fixture from a defensive point of view. And Sheffield United away, again, not a team that I would target for attacking returns at all. So if you're a defender playing against them, that's great. Obviously, Man City is a tricky game. And I think the way Leeds played against Liverpool, they press from the front. They're very quick to do that. They did leave themselves exposed at times. They did kind of target Trent Alexander-Arnold quite a bit. And obviously, that's how Salah got in so many times. He had 9 shots, by the way, 8 of them in the box. So in some ways, that's a little worrying. But against other teams, that might work a little bit better. Fulham at home, good fixture, and like I just said about the other ones as well. So from a defensive point of view, quite good. And also, if you take away the penalties, and I'm not saying you just discount them completely, but from open play, the XG they conceded was 0.9. In comparison, West Ham conceded 1.5 to Newcastle, and Spurs conceded 1.1 to Everton. So Leeds actually not bad considering they played Liverpool. And I feel quite happy about owning one of their players for the next few game weeks, especially at only 4.5 million, right? And also, in terms of attacking potential, he did get forward. I know there was a lot of love for Dallas pre-season as well, but a lot of his attacking returns in the Championship came when he was playing further ahead. So if he's playing left-back, I don't necessarily think he's a much better option than Ayling. Ayling's expected assists were about 0.23, I think, much lower for Dallas as well. Not saying that 0.23 or anything like that is out of this world amazing, but for a defender, it's pretty decent, especially against Liverpool as well. And the one thing I like about him is he's completely nailed on. So if I was looking at bringing in a 4.5 million defender this week, he'd probably be my man, even ahead of Justin potentially. So I can't believe I'm adding Willian to this list, but after 3 assists, you have to at least watch him. And I think it's worth saying, watch list doesn't mean go out straight away and buy someone. It's someone that you want to keep an eye on so that you remember in the future that they might be worth looking at. Now, looking at the fixtures, Liverpool away and Man City away is probably what would put me off. West Ham and Sheffield United at home both look really good, but those 2 away fixtures are tough, and they don't get much better than after that either. They're still quite tricky for Arsenal, so it's probably worth watching him. But triple assist and being so heavily involved in the attack is definitely worth watching. One thing to be concerned about is how often he gets rotated. We know Pepe and Saka can play on that right-hand side as well, which would be a little bit worrying. But obviously, he is one of the biggest signings they've made this summer, so potentially it could be his spot to lose. And expected goals wise, 0.87 for the first game. Considering he got 3 assists, which is why we're all looking at him, he was actually more heavily involved in typical goal scoring chances than actually assists. Because the first assist, for example, was a proper fantasy assist. He took a shot, rebounded off the keeper, and Lacazette followed up. So his expected assists were 0.22. His expected goals 0.87. So potentially on another day, he could have got a goal as well. So very heavily involved. At that price in that Arsenal attack, we had Pepe last year, too expensive, wasn't really massively involved. But if Willian can hit the ground running like this and keep it up and have that place nailed, he could definitely be worth a look at some point. So that's it for this one. Let me know who is on your watch list and what do you think about the players that I've picked out. Have you already made an early transfer and bought someone in for Game Week 2? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. And please do subscribe if you haven't already. That 100k is so close now. If you're watching my content and enjoying it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to support me a little bit further, get some extra content, contact me on WhatsApp, get on Slack as well. I do have Patreon, patreon.com/letstalkfpl. There's links to the description below. If you want to just support the channel, if you want to get a bit more extra content and all that stuff, you can do that through there. It's much appreciated, and thanks very much to the over 100 people that have signed up to that already. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow for another video. Thanks for watching this one. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers all.